Morning. Welcome to the Creative Mike podcast. I am your host, Creative Mike, and today I want to talk about being reactive or too reactive to things that come your way and you don't take time to assess the situation before you overreact. And this is something I've been practicing for a while now, and I've been trying to get better at this. So it's been working out for me, but I'm still not there 100%. So I want to kind of go over with you guys some of the things that you shouldn't be overreacting to. And one of the main things is when you wake up and you see a lot of emails, you see a lot of text messages, and you see people saying, "Oh my God, it's urgent," and this and that, and you're driving in the car and you're checking out your text messages and you're trying to make these phone calls. You think it's a fire, like you got to put out right away. I think the whole building's on fire. Things are going to blow up or crash, whether it's a closing, whether it's a buyer that got, saw some more buyers looking at the house that's already under contract, or whether it's some seller having, finding out something about your process they didn't like, or they're ghosting you, whatever the case may be, or just maybe your spouse or friends or business partners texting you in the morning, urgency, this and that. In reality, is it really that urgent? Are we? Is it a life or death situation? Should we in our car start looking at our text messages and making the phone calls and fiddling everywhere while there's cars driving everywhere? I am so guilty of that. And it's something that I've been working on so much over the last year, because in the end, whether I respond that moment or I even respond at the end of the day, the outcome is still the same. Like, I've noticed the outcomes are still the same. And the more time I take to assess the situation before I make that phone call, before I send out that email, before I send out that text message, it's always been in my favor to wait, then react right away. So I think that being overreactive or reactive is a very bad trait, a very bad habit that you should try to get rid of, because all you're going to do is send the wrong context. You're going to send the wrong message. And you might even, by just overreacting, kill a deal that maybe all it took was you taking a look at the situation, sitting down maybe with your partners, with your team, figuring out a solution, having a game plan together, then calling the seller, the customer, or the buyer, and going over with them their concerns. And I've been guilty of this, guys, many times, overreacting. Like yesterday, I got a text message saying, urgent, buyer is seeing other people going, taking pictures of the house. He wants to know what's going on. Why is this house up still for sale? And this is a property we have in escrow already. It's a Panama City Beach, Florida property. Great property. It's a full rehab. We got it sold to a great buyer, already assigned, in escrow and everything. And and I get this text message in the morning from my dispo manager, and I'm like, all right, okay, so let's calm down. What's going on here, right? So instead of telling her, hey, texting back, everything's okay, I drive my car to the office. I sit down. I look at the text message again. I call the buyer. I say, hey, I got this text message from my relationship manager, Carlene. Can you please tell me, what's going on? And I let him explain the situation. And so he goes on and tells me, yeah, everything's okay. Just I saw this. People were posting, some realtors posting your house online that it's for sale. So what my dispo manager texted me was not even the correct information. So this is why you have to really assess the information and the situation that you are in, because a lot of times that information is incorrect. So you want to make sure you get it from the horse's mouth per se. So call the buyer, call the seller, see what's going on. I called the buyer. I said, listen, you know what? It sounds like a daisy chainer. They saw one of our deals and they're trying to market it and sell it. And this happens in our business all the time. People cannot get their own deals. They see a deal pop up and then they try to sell it for a higher price and they come back to say, hey, I got a buyer. That's fine and all, but ask permission first. Like, this is not your deal. We have it under contract. Nobody gave you permission to market this deal. So to all you daisy chainers out there, it's okay to do that, but first ask us. Like, we're the ones that we're in the grind. We're getting these deals. We're talking to these sellers, to put these properties up. You cannot just go ahead and put our deals out there on Facebook or Investor Lift or wherever you want to put them out there. That's not okay. You're breaking ethics there, right? Ask for permission first. And when this buyer saw it, he thought that we're being unethical because he already made a earnest money deposit of $5,000. He's already locked in the deal. I told him the deal is his. We took it off the market. Everything's done. And so when I calmed them, he was calm, collective. He's like, listen, I understand. I'm like, if you can do me a favor, send me over the person's information and I'll go ahead and I'll call him and I'll let him know, hey, listen, this is our deal. Please take this deal off of your Instagram or off of your Facebook because we're not working with you. You're not partnering with us on this deal. And so if I was overreactive to that situation, I would have texted my dispo manager, hey, listen, text him this, text him that, and just did it really quickly. But I didn't overreact. I was the one that took initiative, took charge, made that phone call, calmed the buyer down, told him, hey, listen, you might see this again. There's a lot of daisy chainers out there. Our deal's done. It's off of Investor Lift. It's off of every other platform. It's already in escrow. Did you see the introduction I made for you in title? He's like, yes, I did. Thank you. I'm like, listen, Dimitri, this deal is yours, brother. There is nobody else that's going to take this deal away from you. You're already locked in. Title is pulled. Everything's ready to go. So this is the types of things that I'm learning about stoicism. I've like really not being reactive, not letting the external things in the world affect me internally, making sure that I don't overreact to problems, because that is like the worst thing you can do is overreact to emails, text messages, phone calls. Take the time. I'm telling you, like, that even if you get it, even if you respond at the end of the day, it's so much better than responding in the beginning, because your brain is not working the way it should be working when it's seeing that text message. It's like fight or flight inside of you. And most of the time it's like flight, like, oh my God, like what I got to say, this deal might fall apart. Like this seller is mad at me. This buyer is mad at me. Like, this is wrong. Title came in wrong. And a lot of times when like you just sit down and you assess everything, you're like, oh, this is the solution. It's not even that bad. Like, it's really not even that bad. Let me figure this out. Let me figure this whole situation out, and let me calm this buyer. Let me call this buyer. So yesterday was another situation recently we had with a seller, and this time we reacted too late, and I'll tell you guys why. So we had a seller. We're buying their house. It's in pre-foreclosure. I signed the documents. The notary went out to them to sign the documents with them, and she didn't sign because she was expecting a lot more money. And our team kind of freaked out because we didn't understand what's going on. She's hard of hearing, so she likes to do text messaging. I think that I hate text messaging when it comes to business, because sometimes in texting, like, the context is not what you mean, and vice versa. And so I always prefer a phone call because I get things done much faster over a phone call, whether through texting or emailing back and forth. And so, we're like scrambling, like, wanting her to sign. But in the end, what we should have done was we should have sat down collectively as a team and assessed the situation and came up with like different solutions. Okay, what can we do to save this deal? What can we do to make the seller feel comfortable now? Because she obviously was under the impression that she was getting a lot more money than she really was. And in the end, it was one of our JV partners. The way he explained it to her was incorrectly, but the whole time the deal was going on, she signed the contract, she did everything, she saw the numbers. So we were kind of dumbfounded when it came down to the closing time, and she didn't sign. And to be quite honest with you, we took about 6 days. 6 days too long to figure this out. Now, as I think about it, I could have figured this out the first day. What I could have done is I could have had a notary sent out again, put her on speaker, introduce myself as the manager of the company that's in charge of lending. Hey, this is what happened. This is the solution we can provide for you, and it all could have been done that day or the next day. Now we're 6 days in. Sellers ghosting us, and she hasn't been responsive. And this is the types of things where you cannot overreact, but you have to come up with a solution pretty quickly. So it's not by calling the seller, it's not by, texting the seller, it's by letting the seller know, hey, I understand what happened. Let me talk to management. Let us see what the issue was. We understand where you're coming from. Let us see if we can find a solution. So you want to bring the seller's guard down. That's the number one thing that you want to do. You never want to be against the seller, because if you're against the seller, then the seller loses that trust with you and your team and your company. And so you always got to be on the seller's side. You always got to be empathetic to their situation. And empathy goes such a long way in this business, guys, because these are human beings you're dealing with, especially with our business, especially with the foreclosures that we do. We are so empathetic to these sellers. We are there for them when they need to talk to somebody, when they need, sometimes they need groceries, sometimes they need the water turned on, the utilities turned on. There's so many things that we do outside of what other companies do that makes us so different than other companies. It's amazing because we're the ones in the end they get those great deals, but in the end we do really go above and beyond to help our sellers. And in this case, we kind of failed the seller, and I really feel bad about that because we could have came up with a solution much faster, but we overreacted. She didn't sign, she should have signed. What's going on here? And I, with my creative brain, I already had a solution in mind. My solution was, what I used to do is I just used to, if somebody would ghost me or do anything along those lines, I would just literally send out somebody to their house, knock on their door. It was typically, I paid a notary, and I said, hey, there's somebody on the phone that wants to talk to you. They handed the phone. I was able to talk to them. They told me what the issue was. And sometimes the issue was so minutia that we were able to figure out then and there, but the seller just didn't want to talk for whatever reason at that moment to the one of, either they were mad at the team member, they were mad at the situation. But then I always had this gift of de-escalating things, and this is something that I pride myself with, that I can de-escalate the situation, put the seller in a more comfortable position, comfortable state of mind, and allow the transaction to go through where we both win. But I'll always want to make sure that the seller wins as much as they possibly can, while still being very empathetic, and them feeling that from me, them feeling that from us, that we're there to help. We're not just there to buy their house or service them or do whatever makes money for us. if that makes sense. So we're currently working on trying to figure out a solution with the seller. I already found a solution that I know is going to work, but now we're not having any luck with the seller when it comes to communication. So we're hoping she's going to be texting us pretty soon. I know she's and it's been 6 days, so don't ever let it go that long. Try to literally the same day, get with your best team members, get with your management, get with your closers, whoever it is you're working with, get on a Zoom call and say, okay, this is what the seller was expecting. What can we do to come close to this? What kind of solution can we bring to figure this out? In our case, we already had the hard money lined up, the private money lined up, and everything else. And so our numbers had to be what the numbers were. So we had to figure out a creative way to do it. And so the way I came up with a solution was we can tell the seller that, listen, we can't give you this much money at closing right now because we've already our funding department approved us based on the contract that you signed. However, once we close the deal, we can give you the difference that you were expecting after we fix and flip your home. So we'll put a lien on the property in your name. So once we sell the property, we owe you X amount of money. And this is something beautiful, guys, that I've learned all this by being in sub two, by surrounding myself with just great people. Man, some of my I just like I'm getting kind of like chills right now because like some of my greatest friends, like Pace Morby, some of the sub two leaders in different states, people that are underground that don't really talk much in sub two or the community. I've learned so much from them, and I'm so grateful for all the lessons that I've learned and how I'm able to solve these problems now by thinking really outside the box and just not being overreactive to these issues that arise. And so one thing that I want to leave you with is that if there is a problem, there's always a solution. And if you can't find that solution, reach out to people that you see that are doing a lot of business because we go through problems on a daily basis. I literally have to find solutions daily to everything. Like for example, we have a deal under contract right now. There's an auction coming up. I found out that the auction is coming up again. We have to stop the auction again, so we have to do that. Another deal that we have going on is we had to purchase the house because our deal fell through with a buyer. He didn't buy. He tried to kind of screw us. So I had to go out there, get hard money, get private money really quickly, save the deal, ended up buying the house. We're doing a little bit of remodeling on it starting next week, and we're going to be listing the property. So all this here that we're doing is literally just coming up with solutions. I mean, that's the game. That's the real estate game. The harder the problem, the more money you'll make. Another scenario yesterday. We have a beautiful North Carolina deal, and my team has been struggling to get the seller to meet with our realtor so they can go in there, get the house, get the pictures ready, get the house listed, get the house up for sale. So I called this gentleman Joseph, and I have a very great conversation with him. I already see the notes in there. The man was diagnosed with cancer. He's going through scans. He has a disabled sister, and so I started having a conversation with him. I'm like, listen, Joseph, I know you're going through a lot. I know there's a lot of things going on right now in your life. So I wanted just to reach out to you. My name's Michael. I'm from the upper management team. I just wanted to see how can I help. I know you mentioned something about you needed some funds for maybe groceries, for your water bill, for your light bill. Tell me what's going on, and tell me, because I know our real estate team has been trying to reach you and get in to meet with you. Tell me what's going on. And so Joseph started opening up to me. He said, "Well, Michael, I have a disabled sister. I have two dogs. I cannot have just random people walking through the house. I'm currently going through a lot of scans for cancer. I don't know what to do. To be honest with you, I'm kind of freaking out about this whole situation. And then I tell Joseph, listen, Joseph, I am here to help you do everything. We're here to make this process as seamless as efficient as possible. So here's what I'll do. Joseph, first of all, I am so sorry that you're going through what you're going through. You're going through cancer. I personally had family members go through cancer as well. I've been there for them. So I know how hard it is for you, especially battling this on your own. So anything you need, please let me know. When it comes to the groceries, the light bill, the water bill, don't worry. We'll take care of it. Just let us know what you need and we'll advance some of your funds that you're supposed to get at close. We'll go ahead and advance those funds for you. Now, here's a solution for your sister, Joseph. I understand that she's disabled, so here's what I can promise you. My realtor will only allow buyers and other realtors to come inside the house when your sister is present, accompanied by our team. That way, you know that every single time somebody is in that house, one of our trusted team members is there making sure that your sister is safe and that your sister is okay. We will not let anybody step through that door unless they are accompanied by one of our team members. And he's like, well, I have dogs too, but my sister can put him in their room. I said, Joseph, our real estate team will contact your sister. We'll be in contact at all times. We'll let her know exactly when somebody's going to come and look at the house. She can put them in her room. She can lock them in their room whenever somebody comes in. But I'll make sure that nobody comes in unannounced, that they always come in with our realtor. And so Joseph let his guard down. He's like, "Wow, Michael, that sounds great." And he actually picked up the phone for me. And then I also found out that he drives. That right now, he does Uber Eats. And he's like, "Hey, I'm about to pull up. I'm about to. I'm driving." I'm like, "Oh, well, what are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm doing Uber Eats." I'm like, Joseph, I live off of Uber Eats. I support you guys so much. You guys are there through the rain, through the snow, through the bad weather, through the traffic. Thank you so much for what you do because not everybody can do what you do. And I appreciate you guys so much. I try to tip you as much as I possibly can because I know how hard that job is. And then Joseph said to me, he's like, Michael, you know what? I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you, supporting us and understanding how hard our job is and for tipping because not everybody does tip us. And I said, Joseph, I completely understand. Every time I go and get service from a restaurant or from any sort of service, whether it's a hotel, bellhop, room service, Uber Eats, anything that I do, I always make sure I generously tip because I know how hard the job is, and I know how hard it is to provide for a family now these days. And so that conversation, guys, completely transitioned from Joseph being completely turned off by picking up our phone calls or talking to a realtor to now opening up, understanding the situation and being responsive. And I was like, Joseph, listen, the last thing that I also would want to happen for you is for us to continue to wait. And I know we stopped the auction, but that's temporarily. We don't know when the trustee or the bank is going to put the house up for auction again, and so our clock is running out, and we have to move as quickly as we possibly can because we still have to find a buyer for your property that wants to buy this house. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure that you walk away with as much money as possible at closing. And anything you need in the meantime, we'll take care of everything for you. You just worry about you and your sister and have my team figure everything out for you. And Joseph said, Michael, you know what? Everything you just said today, you don't understand like how much I really appreciate that. And I will make sure to get with your team. I'll make sure to talk with your realtor. I'll make sure to do everything so we can get the process started. And so what I did was I put my realtor and I put him through a text message in a group. That's what you want to do. is you want to put them in a group text message. So now we're all in a group and we can see what's going on. And now we're planning on meeting Joseph at his home on Saturday so he can meet the realtor, she can meet the sister, and we can start the process. But these are the types of things you have to do. And as you can see, how much empathy I had for Joseph, right? For Joseph in this situation, I was extremely empathetic in this situation. But in general, like I'm very empathetic to people. You know, it's just kind of like how I was born, how I was wired and programmed, because I know how hard life is. I know how hard life can be. And I can't imagine going what they're going through these foreclosures. You know, even though we're stopping these auctions and everything else, people are so scared. They're worried about where they're gonna go. They're worried about, you know, if are they going to turn off the light bill, or are they going to turn off the water bill? And so we're there for them, but we have to voice that. We have to make sure that we voice that we're there to help them in other ways than just sitting going in there and helping and buying their house or helping them sell their house. And so a lot of the things that I've been learning and training myself and being more disciplined and being more calmer, all these things are translating into me now seeing something right away, not overreacting, and then immediately coming up with one, two, or three solutions. Okay. And that is why I believe that our company is becoming successful and we're able to scale at the rate that we're scaling, is because we have these processes in place. Our team is fantastic. You know, every single time we talk to a seller, we make them feel good, we make them feel safe, and that's something that I wish to continue to do. I never want this to be a trade transaction for me. I always want this to be, I help this person, I help them beyond buying their house, I help them beyond selling their house. I made a difference, I made an impact in their life, I made an imprint on them. Even after it's all said and done, they're gonna remember me. He was just wasn't there to buy my house. He just wasn't there to sell my house. He did this for me. He did this for my family. He understood my pain. He understood my situation. He put himself in my shoes. And so if you want to be in this business, whether you're dealing with just regular sellers that might be going through, you know, tenant issues, or they might be older and they just might just want to get rid of the property, or you want to get into our business and deal with people that are in foreclosure, that are literally going through hell, and so many problems. I mean, I can't even, like I said, I can't even imagine what some of these people are going through. I can't imagine having children and having my water turned off, or having my lights turned off, or not having money for groceries and asking for a gift card. You know, like how much pride, you know, how much does that take for somebody to ask you for a gift card to buy groceries, right? And so every situation that we deal with, I really go in there with empathy, with a helpful mind. I don't think about the money. I first think about how can I help this person, and how quickly can I get them out of the situation, so I can't put money in their pocket, so they can start fresh, so they can start over. With that being, guys, my name is Creative Mike. I appreciate you guys all for following me. We're like at 8,200 Instagram followers right now. We're at 3,000 YouTube followers. I am continuously working on myself. You see me at these events, you see me doing a lot of things, but remember, internally, I still have battles within myself. I'm still trying to figure myself out. I'm still trying to figure this thing called life out, emotionally, you know, personally, in business, you know, in relationship wise, business wise, everything. You know, I'm not perfect. No, I don't think anybody is perfect. That's why I talk to you about these things that are real, that arise every single day in my business. You know, there's just it's just but in the end, it's a blessing because there's so much going on. I do feel overwhelmed a lot. be because there is so much things coming towards my way. Like the universe is bringing a lot to me, and I really appreciate that. And then sometimes I try to juggle, like, what should I grab? What should I say no to? Who should I work with? And it's becoming more and more difficult the more and more the universe keeps bringing me opportunities and good people. But when good people do come, I grasp a hold of them and I don't let them go. And I make sure to show them how much I appreciate them, how valued they are to me, and just overall, the impact they've made on my life. And I thank them for that, and I reciprocate that as well. And so if you guys are not following me, you can follow me on Instagram at Kreative with a K _Mike, and also on YouTube I'm just Kreative Mike with a K. And if you want to follow me on TikTok as well, I'm on there as Kreative Mike. And so I want to say thank you so much to everybody. Um, my name's Kreative Mike, and as always, stay creative, my friends. Have a wonderful day.